into Senate Bill 907. It went over to the House. They put some stuff in it. I had no control over that, but I would ask that you do concur with the bill.
Discussion or debate? Senator Marcus, for what purpose you rise?
To ask the bill sponsor a question.
Senator Jarvis, do you yield?
I do.
He yields.
Thank you, Senator Jarvis. I understand that one of the things that was changed from the way the bill was last time we heard it impacts the Gastonia City Council. Is that correct? Could you explain what it does and whether the people in Gastonia support or oppose those changes?
I did not have anything to do with that bill going in there. That provision is not my provision.
Follow up.
Senator Jarvis, do you yield?
Yes.
He yields.
I'm not saying that you did add it. I'm just wondering if you could explain that part, because that is a new part, and I'm just wondering what the people who are impacted by it feel about it, if you know.
I cannot explain it. I do not know the entire provision. I know that the provision I had in the budget was a technical correction that went over last session that we were supposed to pass last session on the last day. I had promised the municipality it would be done, and we were not able to do that because the Senate adjourned and the House had not came back in, and this provision needs passed, and I ask that you concur. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion or debate?
Mr. President.
Senator Blue, for what purpose you rise?
Will Senator Jarvis yield for a question?
Senator Jarvis, do you yield?
I will.
He yields.
Thank you, Senator Jarvis. I just want to make sure there's nothing in this bill that affects Wake County, is it?
Davidson County is the provision that I need.
So, further question.
Senator Jarvis, do you yield?
I do.
But as far as you know, there's nothing in it that affects Wake County or any of the municipalities in Wake County?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Further discussion or debate? Hearing none. The question for the Senate is the motion to concur in the House Committee substitute and the House amendment to Senate Bill 169. All in favor of concurring would vote aye. All opposed would vote no. 5 seconds be allowed for the voting. Clerk, record the vote. Senator Chaudhry, aye. Senator Bodie, aye. Senator Salvador, aye. 41 having voted in the affirmative, 6 in the negative. The motion does carry, and the bill will be enrolled. Public Bill, House Bill 432. The clerk will read.
House Bill 432, principal licensure changes.
Senator Galey is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill arose because there was some confusion about the requirements for licensing principals and other administrators in our school system. Apparently, there were some LAs who were not following the law because it was complicated, I guess, and unclear, which led to people getting waivers, which led to other issues. And so this bill will clean all of that up. There was a working group that was formed to figure out how to address the issue going forward, including Pepsi and DPI and the State Board of Education. So I understand it, all those stakeholders have signed off on this bill, and I commend it to you. Thank you.
Discussion or debate? Hearing none, question for the Senate is the passage on second reading of House Bill 432. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed vote no. 5 seconds be allowed for the voting. Clerk will record the vote. Newton, aye. Buck Newton, aye. Senator Britt, aye. Senator Raven, aye. 46 having voted in the affirmative. Senator Salvador, for what purpose rise?
To change my vote from no to yes.
Salvador from no to yes. 47 having voted in the affirmative, none in the negative, House Bill 432 has passed its second reading and will, without objection, be read a third time.
The General Assembly of North Carolina enacts.
Discussion or debate on third reading? Hearing none, question for the Senate is the passage on third reading of House Bill 432. All in favor will say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 432 has passed its third reading, and the bill will be returned to the House on the issue of concurrence in the Senate Committee substitute. House Bill 542, the clerk will read.
House Bill 542, HOA revisions foreclosure trustee auctions.
Senator Johnson is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, before I get started, would like to thank Senator Sawley for his help. And as we've crafted this bill, he many times helped keep me and this bill out of the ditch, so I appreciate that. And also Representative Liu and Representative Eiler in the House for allowing us to use this bill and also be a part of the process as we've gone through. We're addressing HOAs. I think most of us in this chamber at some time have hear pretty regularly about folks in our districts and issues they have with HOA. So we want to put some guidelines in place. What we do in the original bill, or excuse me, the bill that's before us, is we put a 1-year renewable clause on the management agreements. So the HOA gets to look at it every year after that. We also had issues with parking. HOAs were regulating parking on state and municipal roads, so we do not allow that. Some issues were brought to us concerning small issues like tutoring or swimming, or issues with that homeowners were trying to do in their homes, and so we allow tutoring and swimming lessons, music lessons up to 5 people. Also, there were some issues with some of the more national, not our North Carolina grown management companies, but some of these national companies that were charging exorbitant fees to transfer property, even though our statute said $200 max. So we go back and address that. In an effort to disincentivize nickel and diming people for half an inch of grass or a small chip of paint on their porch, or these things that are more of a nuisance that the homeowner really wants to fix, we're going to disincentivize HOAs from charging these fees by requiring that their fines be submitted to the Civil Penalty and Forfeiture Fund. Give me 1 second here. And now I'm skipping, if you're going along on the bill with me, I'm skipping some of the parts of this bill because I do have an amendment that will make those changes, so that's why I'm not referring to those. Section 4 is a transparency piece that says if you're a member of an HOA and the HOA has a contract or a management company has a contract, the member does have access to that. You will notice that list language appears twice in this bill because it's affecting 2 different chapters in our statute, so it's not a mistake in the bill draft. We just have to list it all twice, so it does duplicate the language. And then lastly, a piece that was added in committee to allow online bidding in a foreclosure so that the homeowners can get more for that home in return. And Mr. President, I do have an amendment that is on the dashboard.
Clerk will read.
Senator Johnson moves to amend the bill.
Senator Johnson is recognized to explain Amendment 1.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. And also I appreciate the feedback that it's been nice having members on both sides of the aisle help give feedback on this, and I think we've been able to encompass most of that. So in this amendment, the renewal period is adjusted, as I mentioned first, that adds a 30-day non-renewal notification piece. The parking element, we wanted to clarify that this is for personal vehicles only. So any big commercials or vehicles can still be regulated by the HOA. In terms of that transfer fee, where folks were finding loopholes, we do add this into the unfair trade practice. So now if they want to play that game, they're going to be subject to the unfair trade practice. HOAs cannot supersede the local government's moratorium per se. So the HOA can't put a moratorium on properties being built or buildings being built simply through their committee process if the local government has not put a moratorium in place. We put a cap on fees at $2,500. We also eliminate foreclosure for fines. And we say that the HOA has to act on their lien. So if they file, they do have to act on that. And we also limit attorney fees. Appreciate your support.